Here we are in Yarrabah, City of Light, far north Queensland, Australia, planet Earth, our universe. Beautiful day today, and I guess we're going to be talking about a few good topics.
Yeah.
Any questions in particular?
Well, what struck me, we before started speaking about fire, our inner fire, our outer fire, about continuation of keeping the fire burning, and you mentioned this ceremony that happened like almost exactly a month ago, actually. In Global Elders Gathering in Yarrabah. What was the ceremony? What was the dream? What happened?
It's a very auspicious time, and a lot of people are aware of this 2012 time being a very auspicious time to be alive. That's very true. There are amazing, unique things happening, coming from the ancient indigenous world that even our Hollywood productions can't even. Avatar came quite close. The stuff that we were recently engaged with, and many of us were quite deeply involved in the bringing together of the Global Elders Gathering in Australia during the Total Solar Eclipse that took place over far north Queensland. And one of the very important aspects of this 5-day Global Elder Gathering was an ancient ceremony that hadn't been performed for what the indigenous world would say that hasn't kept time as the Mayans did. The indigenous world, Australia, would say a very old story, not just an old story. When they speak of very old stories, we're talking about way beyond our conception of timekeeping, and roughly 30,000 years, just to pull a good number out of the air. The ceremony that was performed had to do with bringing back sacred fire from the sun. It was within the story keeping of Uncle Bob in Yarrabah, his story name is, his traditional name, to send the spirit out to the sun and bring something back to the people of this land that we would describe as profoundly spiritual. We gathered in Yarrabah for a 5-day Global Elder Gathering to bring forth visions for the new earth, to ask our elders to provide us with a message that we could put on a digital message that can travel around the world with, to actually create a complete message for the world, to do our part in the awakening process, to give our contribution to what we feel like is bringing into focus the vision of what the new earth really is about. And we need to understand what's not working in the full spectrum, not just in one element, but in the full spectrum of what's not working, in order to know on an internal heart-based level and connect with that heart-based level a path forward. And I personally feel in my guardianship for Pachamama, Spirit of Earth, that not only was I very privileged to be an intricate part of the ceremony and the dreaming that went into recovering and discovering what the ceremony really needed to be about. You know, we're talking about something that hadn't been performed for roughly 30,000 years, since the fall of Lemuria. 26,000 years is what most people will come to think about, and we're back into the Mayan timekeeping of 25,900 years. I was involved in bringing through some of the dreaming, and what ties this story to the Lemurian timekeeping is that we, early on in our dreaming process of unfolding the story that was kept by Uncle Bob about the solar eclipse, about his story name, very early on in the story we discovered that Lemurian Seed Quartz crystal had already been brought to Far North Queensland, had been involved in so many different ceremonial practices, and would be the suitable container to store and receive and distribute through its being of a crystalline matrix the energetic spirit that resides within Father Sun, the sacred fire. On the day itself, Uncle Bob gathered on the beach. A predetermined ceremony was arranged. It was beautiful. The men were circling around Uncle Bob, standing on the soil of his ancestors. And during the window of the solar eclipse becoming full and facing out, the men stepped outward and the women stepped inward. And it was the women around the men at first to signify the old time cycle. And we've now entered into a new one where the men are to be in support of the women. It's very beautiful symbology. And yet, that was beautiful. The depth of the ceremony went way beyond what we would see as important. This was really about what the ancestors, when we truly were still living in unity consciousness, what they had in their dreaming. And this has to do with bringing into being the new earth, because what happened when Uncle Bob sent his spirit out to the sun and brought back, untainted, anew, uncolored, unchanged, pure spirit essence from Sacred Father Sun. What he brought back with that is this elemental spirit and the element of fire anew. And this is something that only I feel our ancient wisdom keepers and traditions are asked to bring about, because they span and remember so far into the past, their lineage, in their home bases. We were blessed and amazed at the same time with the depth of the ceremony and the energetic force field that was surrounding that. Everybody being present, holding a Lemurian Seed Quartz crystal. And in a moment of the sun fully becoming clear again and the moon facing out, Uncle Bob raised his hand. The fire already contained within his own spirit moved forward into his crystal, and from there off a big pulsation of energy started flowing out and rippling into the far shores, across the ocean, across the earth. And this pulsation of this sacred fire of the sun contained the spirit energy. He started traveling, and we who stood around him with our crystals up, we felt the wave, we felt that energetic pulse. And for me, having been involved in quite a number of sort of metaphysical experiments, ceremonies, I don't think that I've ever really felt such an intense intensive pulsation of profoundly powerful energy literally hitting my hand because I was holding a crystal. What this means at this time is that we are actually brought back by the ancient world, sacred fire, spirit fire, heart fire. And that's something unique. And I'd like to explore that. Because being in the knowledge of that this sacred fire has been brought down to the earth anew allows people to act and operate and work with a new level of fire. And what we'll find as we journey along into the following year is that all elemental spirit energies, earth, water, fire, all of them, that are known to the indigenous world to be an intrinsic part of their ceremonies and their way of life, they will all be restored anew. And when I say this, it's my desire, it's my dreaming, because the fire that has been used for the last 30,000 years up until the moment of the solar eclipse has been used in all the ceremonies, and it's the same fire that's spread around the world. It's the same spirit within that fire that has kindled every campfire, every stove. It has kindled our aluminum smelter factories. It has kindled every industrial revolutionary invention. The fire has been used to produce the outcomes of our current industrial society. And although the ancient wisdom keepers and fire keepers in particular have always looked after the spirit within the fire, the element of fire, have been the guardians of the knowledge that is contained within the fire and what is there, what is within the sacred fire as a true spiritual element. 30,000 years have gone by, and not to dismiss the integrity and the depth of knowledge and knowing that our ancient fire keepers and current fire keepers have of the spirit within, we can all say that having fire restored unto the earth from the sun from which it came, a new, untainted, uncolored, unchanged, pure spirit essence, that offers us an opportunity to step into a new level of being with more confidence, more trust. And I believe that if we spread this message and we go find our own fire keepers in our own indigenous communities, and we share with them this message from our heart space to their heart space, they will truly know, because they will remember that there was going to be a time upon the earth when the elements of life and spirit will be restored anew, so that the children awake and alive that day would be able to work with the new energies, the new waters, the new fire, so that we can truly bring into being, through our heart's passionate drives, the new earth as we know it. That we would be given the spirit tools, the fire that burns in everyone's heart, to have that reignited, pure, uncolored, not dirty, not changed, not altered, restored anew. It would allow us to work from a pure place. It would allow us to work with untainted fire, untainted energy. And that energy is now brought onto the earth, and it's now important to make known to the broader community that if they so wish, not only is this fire available, contained within crystalline matrix in the Lemurian seed crystal that we are distributing around the earth for those who are called to bring that into their reality. This fire is a spirit fire that lives in everybody's being. It's a fire that lives in your heart. And if you wish to open that door and work with that renewed flame, this is your chance to connect to the earth and to connect to Father Sky through your heart and focus on that flame. Call it into being and make it your dreaming to work with that, because this fire will ignite your spirit. This fire will ignite your actions, and this fire will fuel and warm you. It will drive your passions to bring into being the new earth. And having been there at Yarrabah, on the beach in Wungu, and having felt that energy, having journeyed with the story, and being probably one of the few people that really knows the inner dreaming that was contained within, I can only say that tap into your heart, open that space, allow that fire to come through, because it is ready. It is here for all of humanity, and especially for us, those people that are watching this, to work with. Because when we allow that spirit fire to work through us and with us, and being aware that we are tapping into it, we are tapping into infinite source. We're tapping into the sacred fire of the sun. And it could be interesting. That could actually make all of your efforts and all of your works of the past, which were all based on the old heart's fire, take it to the next level. Make it ascend to a higher field of operating from, going deeper into the purity of that essence. And wow, sorry, if you really truly want to blow and burst and expand and grow and be the change, tap into it. This is our time, this is our place, this is where we are, this is the time to do it. And this message is calling on you to sit down after you watch this, close your eyes, go into your heart, connect with the source of Mother Earth, ask her about this story, connect with the ancestors, ask them about this story, send your love to them and receive their love back. And as you are connected, send from your heart space your love up to Great Father Sky, or the grids, if you understand them. And when that love comes back to you, and you can feel that as you sit there, and this is what I'm asking you to do, tap into the fire and the flame, and see with your inner vision the flame that resides within your being. Ask to work with it. It is there for you to work with. Connect to it. Tap into it. It will fuel you. It will drive you. It will ignite your already inspired passions, so that we, as awakened individuals, through the enabling and the restoration of the ancient indigenous world that has brought this back ceremonially onto the earth, it will enable us to bring into being a new earth, a world that is environmentally sustainable, socially just, and deeply and profoundly spiritually fulfilling as a human presence onto this earth. And in part, that's the story of the sacred fire that's been brought back to the land. And the waters will be restored. The earth itself as a whole will be restored. But it ain't gonna happen just because others are doing it. We did our part in this story. You do your part in your story. Because when we all do our part and fulfill our roles and step into our purposes and the reasons why we came to this earth and be awake during this time, if we all do our part, we will look back and we can tell our grandchildren that we were thriving. We were thriving through the journey all the way. It was intense, but our grandchildren will be living in a restored paradise on planet Earth. They will be living in new Earth consciousness. And why? Because you got inspired, because I got inspired, because the fire in me was calling me to be more, to give more, so that I could receive more. And this is what the Global Elder Gathering really taught me. It was a massive epic event of giving, growing grace, expanding, and being there for my role and my purpose, and so many people were there for their role and their purpose. And recognizing our own individual role and purpose based on our passions and skills and inspiration. And honoring and acknowledging each other's roles and purposes based on their passions, skills, and inspirations. We go bring that together. There's no stopping us. But one thing is for sure, we got to go and do it. And 2013, it's going to be the year. It's our year. We all woke up. The Mayans completed their time and they told us, welcome to your new Earth, the new cycle. What are you going to do? And this is the question. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Sharon.
Thank you so much. This is beautiful.